So unsurprisingly, David is going to stand trial for the alleged murder of Celeste Rivas. It was pretty clear the judge was going to do this. There was certainly probable cause to hold him over for trial. The prosecution made its case clear that David was having sex with a 13-year-old girl who threatened to expose him and ruin him for having that relationship, and that he lured her over to his house with an Uber, lying in wait to kill her because he was afraid that if his career was ruined, he was going to lose millions of dollars. He would have lost his entire career. And that's why prosecutors say he killed her, dismembered her, put her in the Tesla, although it's unclear exactly what the end game would have been there if he went on tour with a body that is decomposing in the back of his car. So that's the prosecution's case. The defense, you got to wonder, what exactly are they going to show? Well, they gave a preview of that during closing argument and during the testimony in the preliminary hearing. A couple of things. One is that there apparently are texts that show Celeste was furious at David because David had another woman over at his house, and she had threatened to kill him, to ruin him, and that Celeste, when she went over there, was angry. Now, the defense never said this, but are they going to say during the trial that maybe she tried acting on that and went for him, and will they argue this was self-defense? Now, there's no basis yet for saying anything like that, except that they did bring up these texts where she was really angry and threatened to kill him. One of the things about this text that the defense seized upon was that there are special circumstances here, that he was lying in wait, that he was going to kill a witness obviously in a case involving having sex with a minor. But when you look at Celeste's text, she didn't say, I'm going to call the police. She simply said, I'm going to ruin you. So that doesn't necessarily mean, according to the defense, that she was going to go to the police, and therefore David wouldn't be thinking, oh my God, this is going to cascade into a criminal case and my career is going to be ruined. So I think that may have some presence when this case goes to trial, that they're going to say she never made a direct threat to go to the police. The second thing is that there was testimony in the case that Celeste had previously threatened suicide, talked about killing herself. So the question, will the defense raise the possibility that Celeste went over there overwrought with anger and jealousy, and that she may have tried to kill herself and may have done so inside the house? She had stab wounds, and according to the prosecution, those stab wounds could have resulted in death in just minutes. So could that have been a possibility? And then could David have just freaked out that this 13-year-old girl just killed herself inside his house, and he says, I've got to get rid of the body, just in a panic? That could be the argument they make. Now remember, it may not seem particularly plausible, especially given what the prosecution laid out, but this isn't a case where the defense has to prove something that it's more likely than not. All they have to do is create a reasonable doubt. So would a jury believe that Celeste may have taken her own life? Would a jury have believed that Celeste may have lunged at David because she had sent a text to him saying that she would kill him and that he acted in self-defense? I'm not embracing any of those theories. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if that comes up during the trial. And then the question, would a jury listening to this, not seeing evidence of exactly what happened inside the house during that 21-minute period, would a jury have reasonable doubt that David murdered her during that time frame? That, to me, is going to be the real centerpiece of this trial. But when you look at it right now, it looks like a major uphill climb for David. That said, I will say this, that I have seen many a preliminary hearing where the evidence looks rock solid, irrefutable, and then during the trial, when the defense has an opportunity to present its case, it becomes far more complicated, and in some cases, you can have a rock solid prelim for the prosecutor, and the defense ends up winning by proving reasonable doubt in the trial. I am not saying that's going to happen here, but that's going to be the dogfight. And then the question, did David stab her to death once she showed up at the house, or can the defense show in some way that Celeste either got super aggressive or that she tried to take her own life and succeeded? Stay tuned.